Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of Hello, Millie. This week, the Millie we're going to talk to is my mom, Millie Garfield. Let's bring her onto the show. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. I hope my face is not all red. My hair is black and gray. I don't know what's wrong with this today. I hope as we go along, we get straightened out.
Well, you look good to me.
Well, you have tremendous eyesight, I tell you. Ah,
It looks fine. It looks great. It looks very
hey,
good.
all right.
So in this week's episode, so the way I titled the show was Memories of Joy. So what is your thoughts on today's show?
Well, before we even get going on memories of joy, I had a few things that happened during the week that I want to go back to probably a couple of weeks ago, some things that happened. And I want to add those things to today's show. And maybe some people will think of some things. The show was, what did someone say that influenced you in a positive manner? And one of the things I thought this morning, I went to my OT, occupational therapist, and she's the lady who had the thrill with my gold wallet a few weeks back.
Right.
Well, she commented that my hands looked better. Oh, she says, I can see a big improvement, and you're doing your exercises, your hands are better. So I said, yeah, great, thank you. And what it reminded me of was years ago, I had some surgery and I was in a rehab and they were very good. And one day she came along and she talked about the exercises that I should be doing. And she looked around and she said, where is the piece of paper with the instructions or your directions? So I opened up the drawer and I put them out so I could see them. So she said to me, you don't put directions of exercise in the drawer. In the drawer, you're not going to see it. You're not going to do it. You have to keep it outside. So I told my therapist that this morning, and she got a kick out of that because that only makes sense because I keep the directions on my table and I see them and I have been doing them. So she saw an improvement. So that's a big thing. So if you have exercise to do, don't put the piece of paper in the drawer because you're not inclined to do them. And the other thing I thought of that I was surprised at myself that I didn't add it to that episode because my mother's very favorite saying was, if you don't go out, nothing happens. And that was a very meaningful thing to me because when I went out, I thought of my mother and something happened. And usually it was something positive. So I say that to people and they say, oh, yeah. And so I'm asking the people that are tuning in today, think about that. If you did not go out, that would not have happened. So I'm glad I got that off my chest. I wanted to get that up there. Now, talking about the memories of joy, my parents are both gone now many years, but I know the answer to their question. Their question is the thing that brought them the greatest joy was being with the family, and especially being with my little boy, Stevie. And there's a picture that we put up, I think last week we put a family picture up, and it's little Stevie with my mother and father, and they are smiling, the biggest smile you ever saw, because they're thrilled. They were always very excited and thrilled to be with my kid. Plus, they loved the family. And they would have us over for dinner frequently. And my mother and father, they both cooked from scratch. She made the noodles, she made the knedel, she made everything. She didn't buy a package of anything. She made it all. And that was the happiest event in their lives when we came over for dinner and shared the meal with them. When I first got married, Thanksgiving was coming, and as a new bride, I wanted to make Thanksgiving. I was anxious to make it. And I told my mother that I was going to do it. Well, she was upset because I was taking that away from her. She wanted to cook. She wanted to cook, but she did let me cook that time. And I think after that, I didn't have to complain and say, "Hey, I want to do it." I kept doing it. So that was that joy. And the other joy I was thinking of was when I first got married and my husband and his mother and his sister took us for a ride. We would go for a ride to the country somewhere, and she also was a great cook, and she would cook a hot meal, put it in the car, wrap it up. We'd find a nice spot in the country somewhere, and we'd have that hot dinner. And that was one of her great joys, to share the meal with the family. And then I'm thinking about my greatest joys. So that was part of my joy. Just going for a simple ride like that. Talking about simple rides. Oh, there, they found the picture. That's the biggest smile that I ever saw my parents have. And with me, going for a ride and having a meal. Plus, when it was not even a special occasion, but Steve and Carol would come and take me for a ride. And they did not tell me where we were going. And as we were on the highway, I was starting to guess where. We were heading north, I thought of certain places. We were heading south, I thought of other places. And sometimes I was right. And sometimes I was completely wrong. I never would have guessed it. But those were great times. And the other great time that I had fun with for years, we would observe Hanukkah. It's like the Jewish, like Christmas time, we would have Hanukkah. And you gave 7 gifts to a person for the 7 nights. And so when Hanukkah was over, we had our get together, I started thinking about next Hanukkah. And wherever I was, when I went to Florida, I would be shopping around different places, and I would pick up things, put them away, so I would have it next year for Hanukkah. So that worked well for me because that way I got a lot of variety. And the fun part of that was when I wrapped the gifts up and I gave, especially to Steve, when I gave Steve his gifts, he tried to guess what was in the package. Sometimes he guessed and sometimes he didn't. Mostly I think he guessed what it was. A couple of times I remember I stumped him because he's touching the gift and holding the gift and smelling the gift, and he could not figure out what was in there. And what stumped him was firecrackers that I had picked up, like New Hampshire, and he never, ever guessed that one. So there were a few things that I stumped him with, but mostly he guessed them. And I had to get 7 gifts for each person, and there were 6 or 7 people in this group. So I got some gifts that cost some money. Then I got some free things that I wrapped up. And every year I was trying to find something different. And finally, I gave up on all these different things. And what I started to do was buy something like toilet paper, a big package. And I wrapped up the package. And whoever I gave it to, they couldn't figure out what that was. So that brought a lot of laughs. And I think I did something like Rice Krispies. I found big packages or tiny packages and stumped them. So we all had the greatest time. So mostly I remember the Hanukkah and the mystery ride and just being together. That was the whole thing, just being together. Those were my joys that have come to mind today. And Steve, what are your memories? What are you thinking about? What do you remember?
Well, this is easy because they're all joyful memories. And I went and found, let's see, hold on. I gotta find my thing I made. This was easy for me because all I did was go on where I have all my photos. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting it. Let me just get my page. Oh, here we are. Okay, you're gonna like this.
What's this? Oh, what do I have in my hands here? Are those oranges?
Yeah. Let's see. Those are oranges. So this memory, let's see what happens if I move this. This is a memory of going down to Florida. So every year when you used to go down to Florida, we would go together and we would go on JetBlue and we drive down there. But the first thing we would do is go get your cable modem.
Oh, yeah.
Go install that in your condo. And then we go to the supermarket and we'd go shopping and, get California oranges. Well, no, it would be Florida oranges back then.
Okay.
But this is you very happy at the supermarket. And so one of my favorite things was going to the Florida supermarket together because it's very different than up here in Boston. And they have remember, they would have a whole aisle of sardines and anchovies,
Yeah.
all different brands, all different styles. That was hilarious for me. I loved seeing all the crazy stuff in the supermarket. So that was you happy in the supermarket. And let's see. So this one, you see, it's not that clear, but it's you with the beer. You're holding a beer and we're at a bar.
Uh-huh.
You and me and Carol, and I am taking you to some brewery somewhere, trying the beers. That I love. You like it too, right?
Yeah, was that in Florida, the beer?
No, this was in Florida. I'm not sure where that one was.
Oh, but when you took me to many different places for beer, I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, here you are in your blogging shirt, and we're at the bar. Let's see. This is you with the Apple logo. Oh, that one. Oh, well. Wait. Actually, let me go back. This one is we took you to the Apple store to get something, a new keyboard or something, and we're in the Apple store. See if you remember this story. And someone walks up and wants to know if you're Millie from My Mom's Blog.
Wow.
Do you remember that? You were the famous person.
Yes, I remember that. I was very happy and stunned that he recognized me. Yes. That happened to me at Brooksby too when I first came. Some resident came up to me. She says, I saw your blog. I said, you're Millie Gar. Yeah. So she found me. That's how we became friends.
And so here you are at your desk. This is one of the best photos of you blogging with your old laptop.
I like that laptop.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yep.
So these are some of my memories, but now let's see, I have to stop the screen sharing. We have a special guest joining us.
Okay.
Hi, Millie.
Hello, and welcome to the show, Carol Garfield.
Hi, Millie.
Hi, Carol.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Carol Garfield?
Very good. I'm sitting out on the porch enjoying the sun.
How wonderful. Nice day for the sunshine. Good.
Yep.
So, Carol, you want to come in and share a memory of joy?
I do. I remember all the ones that Millie said, too. Those fun Mother's Days that we would take her to the Channel 2 WGBH auction.
Oh, yes. That was great.
Yeah, and look around at all the auction items before the auction would happen.
That was fun.
We did that for a few years.
Yeah. And then my personal one is the biggest joy in my life was Steve's wedding day. It was our wedding day, our beautiful, wonderful wedding day that we were with family and friends.
Call from.
Is that your phone, Ma?
Yeah, I'll tell them goodbye.
Call from.
Hello. Yeah, I'm on the computer. I have to call you back later. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
So
Good.
it was our wedding, our beautiful wedding with all the family and friends we had. It was a beautiful day. We took photos out over the water of the Charles River, and it was a fun day. That's one big memory.
Oh, that's beautiful. I remember that day too. That was a great day. Great. Yeah. Everyone was dancing and happy.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
And then Steve, did Steve have one already?
I had a whole million of them. Yeah. Everything we do together is a lot of fun. I had all the different pictures. It was going to bars, breweries, going to the supermarket down in Florida.
Right.
The breweries were always in the middle of nowhere. We never knew where
Oh,
we
yeah.
would end up.
It would be the dumbest street, the cleanest looking street, like no one ever went on that street. But we went into the bar room. It was loaded with people. I found out that's what people do in this era. They go to bars. I didn't know bars were so popular. And about getting back to the rides, I had a friend who kept close track of my activities, and she knew the routine with Steve and Carol. And she said, so where are you going to be going with the kids? And I said, I don't know. It's always a secret. And then she would next time she saw me, she'd check back and she'd say, so where did you go with them? And she'd say, oh, that's interesting. So that entertained her too. Yeah.
Yeah, it always involved a ride somewhere and then a fun place or a new place for you to go to have dinner that you have never been to, or you would never go with your lady friends.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I just didn't know. I knew north. I could guess a place north. But if we went south, I was not familiar with the places. So that was a joyride. That was good. When I was a kid, talking about joy, my father didn't drive. So wherever we went, we had to take a streetcar, a trolley. And what I remember, the joy ride that I had as a kid, we would take the streetcar and we'd go to Lynn. That's where my father's family lived. Wonderful people. And what I especially remember, one of the times that we went, my cousin Bernie Schultz, first cousin, he took me on a walk. We left the people in the house and he took me for a walk and he took me to a supermarket. And I can't tell you the name of the market, but it was something new in Lynn and it was like a Stop and Shop. It was not the corner grocery store that we had in those days, but this was new and it was big. And so I never forgot that. That was a big deal that he took me to that supermarket.
See, supermarkets, they're fun.
Yeah. I never saw such a big market. And the other thing I remember about that trip to Lynn, there was a place on the main street that had, what are they called, where the band concert plays?
Like a gazebo?
Yeah.
Or like a bandstand?
A bandstand. And it was a big bandstand. And on a special day like Sunday, they had a band concert. And so we would plan, or not even plan it, it just happened. The band was there that Sunday. So my relatives took us to the band concert. And that was a joyride. Yeah, so some of those things are very memorable. Simple things, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember.
I would say another fun thing that we did, and we took you once, Millie, too, was anytime we went to Disney World in Florida, that was always fun to walk around. Yep.
Oh, that was special.
Yep.
I would never have been to those places and seen what I saw then when you came down and we explored the area. Yep. Yep. That was fun trip. Those rides were so memorable. They were great. And I got such a kick out of my mother-in-law because here we were going on a ride and it's the weekend. So she should also not want to cook. But in those days, those adults, they didn't know anything different. There wasn't a restaurant that they could afford to go to. And so they made them, and the meal was hot. Oh, the first time when I was a newlywed, and it's my birthday coming up, and they want to take me out on my birthday. Oh, that was very nice. So we go for a ride, and what did we do? They stopped the car in a nice country spot, and she took out the hot dinner. So at first, I was disappointed because I thought if they're taking me out for my birthday, they're going to take me to some restaurant. So I didn't appreciate what she had done for me at that time until I got older and realized her situation and her thoughts. And that's the very best she could do. And it was wonderful. So later, I really appreciated that ride. That was good. I don't remember ever going out to dinner with my mother-in-law or my sister-in-law. I think after my mother-in-law died, then we took out Aunt Minnie. We would take her to a Chinese restaurant, something that she liked. But with my sister-in-law, she was not a cook. Her mother had done all the cooking. Yeah, so we took her to a Chinese restaurant, so she was happy. Any more, Steve? Any more memories?
I was wondering if your father ever took you to the restaurant he worked in.
He did not take me to the restaurant he worked in, but once in all the time that I can ever remember, he took me, my mother, to a very nice restaurant in Boston, downtown Boston. I had to be, at that point, a teenager, and he took us to dinner. Well, that was a really big thing. He had come into some extra money, and my family was Orthodox. My mother did not mix meat and dairy products. That's not Orthodox. You shouldn't do that. Well, we had steak for dinner, and my father, he ordered ice cream after the dinner. I never got over that one because you don't mix meat with ice cream. But that was a very special occasion. So I remember that one vividly. Yeah.
Well, he didn't have the ice cream with the steak, so he had it separate, kinda.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter. That in the same meal, you're sitting down at the table and you're ordering ice cream.
That's funny.
In later years, my father had physical problems, and he was in a nursing home. So I'm visiting him at the nursing home, and I say to him, "Dad, what did you have for dinner last night?" And he told me he could not describe what he had. And I want to know, what did he have to eat? I really wanted to know. So I asked one of the nurses, "What did my father have for dinner last night?" "Chipped beef on toast." Well, chipped beef comes with cream, milk. He would never, ever have that. That's why he couldn't tell me what he had.
That's funny.
Yeah, I never forgot that one. Yeah. I also, talking about him in a nursing home, he liked to drink. He liked a schnapps. And when he was at home, he'd take that little glass. I think Stephen might have one of those little
juice. Well, he took a juice glass.
Okay. So whatever he had to take a schnapps with his dinner and gulp it. He did not sip it. He gulped it down. So I brought him a bottle of V8, one of those rye whiskeys.
V8's tomato juice. You brought him VO.
I brought it right. Correct. I'm a little drunk myself. I brought him a bottle of VO, and I come in after I had brought him that bottle to enjoy. He comes in and he tells me the bottle was taken away from him. Someone took it. So what I did in the future to keep him in whiskey, I brought another bottle of VO and I left it at the desk. And so when he wanted a drink, he had to go to the desk because they kept the bottle for him.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's where I met my friend Ann Zach.
Oh,
I have a good friend, and she worked at that home, and so we got acquainted. And to this day, we're friends.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't know
funny.
that's how you met her. I didn't know that.
That's
Oh,
how I met Ann. Yeah, we got together. She lived in Marblehead, and she lived close to the beach. And so I would come over from wherever I was living at the time, and I'll leave my car there. And I think we could even walk to the beach from her house. And so many summers we walked together to her beach. And then in later years, I've known her for many years, later years, she came to Florida. She still goes to Florida. And she happened to be at the same development, and we were on the same building, on the same floor. And so we would get together for meals, for shows, for cards. And those were wonderful. Those were wonderful times too. Yeah.
Yep. Well, let me show you what we're going to be drinking tonight.
Okay.
This
What is that? Petty?
It's Pedialyte. It's a electrolyte water drink.
Oh,
Yeah, we had our second COVID Moderna shot this afternoon.
congratulations.
Thank you. So we're going to be drinking this and have a Tylenol, and hopefully we have no or mild side effects,
Yeah, we
over
have
the
to
next
drink-
24 hours.
you have to drink a lot of water with electrolytes in it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Yep. So I think we'll be okay. I feel fine right now.
Okay. Well, what Brooksby did when we got the
Move my arm around.
shot 1, shot 2. What's that? What's that?
We heard on the internet you're supposed to move your arm around.
The one
Oh,
you got the shot in.
okay. Okay. Well,
And I got it in my right arm this time because the last time I did it on my left arm.
oh, I haven't heard of that. After we had the shots at Brooksby, we had to sit there 15 minutes before we left because the after effects, if they're going to show up, they show up within that 15-minute time.
Right.
And then we checked out. Speaking of the virus, my friend, I just found out, she hasn't been feeling well. She's been telling me this and that. And unfortunately, she usually doesn't feel well. So you start not to pay such attention because she never feels good. But last week she had a bad week. And when she went to the doctors, they gave her the test to see if she had the bug. And she tested positive because she had mild effects from it. She had 2 shots. I asked her that. She had the 2 shots, but fortunately, it's a mild case, but it was very disturbing.
So did you talk to her today?
She just called me,
Okay.
so I don't know how she's doing. I don't know yet how she's doing today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll call her later.
That should be very rare, getting COVID after you have 2 shots.
Yeah,
That's big news. Breaking news right here.
I have not heard that before. And now that I've talked to you and I've talked to a few other people, it's not the rarity we think it is. You don't hear about it. And I don't even know if they're going to have it on 9/19 because she was in touch with different people. So maybe they have to get quarantined.
Yeah,
too.
any help that comes into her might have to quarantine because she doesn't go anywhere. It's just the help that comes in to help her. Yeah.
She has a lot of help that comes in, so someone brought it into her. But wherever she went during this last week or so, someone brought it in. So she's had complaints, but was to my knowledge, I didn't know that you could have it like that. Speaking of that, another thing I learned, I was talking to some home support person, and we talked about the what do you call it? The mask.
The mask.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mask. So I was saying something about, oh, I have a couple of masks here. I should wash them because I wore them a few times. I should wash them. She says, you don't wash them. You don't wash them. You just you throw it in. They're throwable, removable. You don't wash them. I never heard that. With everything that they talk to you about the mask, wear it, but they never say wash it or don't wash it. So she went to her car and she brought me a package of masks. She says, just wear them and throw them out. Did you hear that?
Well, the disposable ones, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she says, what you have are disposable. So then she gave me a special one. She says, that one is washable.
Right.
But the ones I have that people have given me, or even if I purchased them, they're not washable. She said, well, if you're only wearing it for a few hours in the day, okay. But if you wear it for a couple of days, just throw it out.
All right, we'll go take a look at those next time we visit.
Okay.
All right, well, this was fun thinking about everything joyous is a good thing to think about.
That's right.
So I think we did a good job.
It turned out very well.
And thank you, Carol, for joining us.
Happy to
Yes.
join.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.